let's get into Fed approves rules banning its officials from trading stocks, bonds, and also cryptocurrencies. I think we did already talk about this. It actually gets interesting. I believe we haven't on the morning show, so I wanted to cover it. I've been talking about it on Twitter pretty extensively, and then I forgot to review and see if we actually talked about it last week. But just a quick, brief overview of this. Key points: Federal Reserve officials will be restricted from owning individual stocks, bonds, and other assets under rules announced Friday that were set forth in October. The new regulations extended to and ban to cryptocurrencies, which were not included in the previous announcement. And they follow a controversy last year in which several officials traded positions just ahead of the Fed's extraordinary measures to help the economy through COVID crisis. Now, here's the problem with all of this in general is this is only for the Federal Reserve officials. This should be applied to all government officials, in my humble opinion. The fact that you have somebody like Pelosi making $200,000 a year, but is worth over $100 million is absolutely disgusting. And while we do live in a free market, there is a sacrifice I think you make when you become a public official. Your goal is to serve the people, not to serve yourself with insider information to advance your own equity within whatever society you participate in. Now, that being said, if you want to move out of the public sector and into the private sector, that's also where things get a little bit murky, but I think that should be okay. There should be ways to reintegrate back into the private market if you so wish, but there should probably be some sort of regulation on how much time you have to participate within markets, etc. That's my opinion. Now, there is a fun tinfoil hat theory going on here, to be clear. And that tinfoil hat theory is that this is setting up to basically have an excuse to sell off en masse, basically, all of the investments before a market crash, meaning that the Federal Reserve officials are aware, essentially, of an incoming economic crisis, and they don't want to alert the public of this with a huge sell-off. So if they create a rule that allows them to basically sell it off under we're not allowed to own it anymore, then they would be able to mask that for a little bit longer. Obviously, that's a crazy tinfoil hat theory. It is odd. Why, if you control these regulations, if you control these regulations and you're making a ton of money off of it, why would you just go ahead and ban it, right? And not allow yourself, the rule maker, to participate in something that is, financially beneficial to you as an individual. It's a little weird. Usually you don't expect that. Now, I could be wrong as far as like who implemented it versus who was making money off of it. I assume we're all people and there's just the same dynamics within all of these organizations of people that have higher ethics than other people within the organization, etc., and it doesn't function any different. Now, the timing on this, which I think everybody should be aware of, is going to vary depending on if you already work for the Federal Reserve or if you are moving forward or moving forward, you are hired. So basically what's happening is this will take effect on May 1st, and then they will have 12 months, from my understanding, from May 1st to liquidate their positions. So that would be all the positions being liquidated by May 1st of 2022. New employees coming into the Federal Reserve would essentially have 6 months, and I don't understand exactly if this is just from here on out. What it sounds like is if you get hired, you have 6 months to liquidate all of your positions after being hired. So that's kind of the timeline. We're looking at May 1st of 2023. How this impacts the market should be interesting, and what ends up happening, obviously. I'd like to hear your thoughts, obviously, on the conspiracy, because conspiracies are fun too. Just make it clear that that's not necessarily, that there's no proof or anything like that. It's just a fun conspiracy that I thought I'd mention. I think somebody had turned me onto it on Facebook, so I was like, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll get into it a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Morning Show every Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. Pacific and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check out more clips here, or if you're interested in checking out the entire live show, you can check that out down here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday.